Have you ever wondered why certain emotions return like tides, no matter how far you've run? Why the past seems to echo in the present through your relationships, your fears, and the outcomes you are manifesting in your life? Whether it's the money you struggle to receive or the love that always feels just out of reach. But what if healing isn't about fixing what's broken, but about remembering what was forgotten? What if the very part of you you've been avoiding is the key to your freedom? Carl Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This is what the shadow, the hidden self that shapes your thoughts, reactions, and patterns from the dark. Not to punish you, but to be seen. And shadow work is not just emotional digging. It's the sacred act of meeting the forgotten parts of yourself and welcoming them home. It's not a concept. It's not a trend. It's not a trick for spiritual perfection. Shadow work is the quiet revolution that begins inside you when you finally dare to face what hurts. You know the feeling. That restlessness in your chest you can't explain. The way your thoughts speed up when you feel alone. How you smile, keep going, do what's expected. But inside, something feels heavy, like you're carrying something you can't name. You overthink, you analyze, you try to stay in control. But underneath it all is a part of you quietly whispering, "I don't feel safe being fully seen." The world teaches us to look outward for answers, to succeed, outperform, be strong, be certain. But shadow work begins with a radical act, to stop, to sit in the mess, and to listen to what has been silenced. The shadow isn't evil. It's not darkness in the way we've been taught to fear. It's simply what you've disowned. The pain you never had space to feel. The parts of you you were told to hide to be loved. All of it still lives within you, not as a punishment, but as a map to your wholeness. As children, we were wide open. We felt everything, raw, unfiltered, alive. Especially in those early years when the brain is still in theta waves, a deeply impressionable state where we absorb everything like truth. And slowly, we were shaped. Crying made people uncomfortable. Anger made us bad. Vulnerability made us weak. So we adapted. We pushed pieces of ourselves underground, into the shadow. We became what the world would accept and rejected what felt like too much, too raw. But what we suppress doesn't disappear. It hides and waits. It leaks out through our triggers, our addictions, our emotional loops. It wears masks. It sabotages love. It hides behind control, sarcasm, perfectionism, and shame. The shadow is not what's wrong with you. It's what you had to silence in order to belong. Now ask yourself, what part of you are you still trying to hide? Whatever thought comes to the surface, sit with it, breathe into it. You're not here to fix it. You're here to witness it, because the acknowledgement of this pain is where healing begins. But how does it actually heal you? Shadow work heals by doing what nothing else does. It stops the cycles of self-rejection by bringing light to the unseen. When you bring awareness to a suppressed emotion, that emotion no longer needs to scream to be heard. When you allow anger, it softens. When you allow sadness, it moves. When you allow fear, it starts to feel safe. Healing isn't dramatic. It's often quiet, like breathing into a part of your body you forgot existed. You see, your mind is not your enemy. It simply has been trying to protect you from what it doesn't understand. It overthinks because it fears what it cannot control. It resists because it believes resistance is safer than surrender. But here is the key. You are not your mind. You're not the overthinking, the self-doubt, the emotional spirals. You're the one noticing them, the one watching it all unfold quietly in the background. Shadow work teaches you to stop identifying with the noise. The fear can come. The sadness can wash over you. The old stories can replay in your mind. But don't identify with it, simply observe it. The reason why the ego doesn't want shadow work, it's because shadow work threatens its illusion of control. The ego is the mask that says, I am what I do. I am how I'm seen. I am how well I can hide my pain. But healing means allowing that mask to fall. It means letting parts of your identity die, so your true self can breathe. This is not easy. It feels like crumbling, but what crumbles was never really you. What remains is real. If you'd like to explore the unconscious and get a deeper sense of how it shapes our lives, I encourage you to dive into the work of Carl Jung, starting with his book, Modern Man in Search of a Soul. You'll find the link in the description. Shadow work is not just in the mind, it lives in the body. Every emotion you didn't feel, it's still there. It may be in your shoulders, in your gut, or in your jaw, for example. Your body is the archive of your unlived truth. So as you walk this path, begin to notice, where do I clench when I feel afraid? Where do I collapse when I feel ashamed? Begin to breathe into those spaces. Let sound come. Let tears come. Let movement come. This is not regression. It is integration. It is the body catching up to the soul. True healing is not about becoming a better version of yourself. It's about being whole. And wholeness includes your shadow. It includes the one who feels angry, the one who feels jealous, the one who still grieves, the one who made mistakes, the one who needed too much. When you embrace those parts, you stop living in fragmentation. You begin to walk through life as a whole human being, soft, strong, unapologetic, real. This is power. This is peace. This is freedom. Take Robert, for example, and on the surface he had done everything right. He held a steady job, paid his bills, showed up on time, but behind closed doors his life felt empty. He kept finding himself in the same kind of relationship, one where he either felt invisible or too much. He craved intimacy but pulled away when it got too real. He'd say the right words, wear the right face, but deep down he didn't feel seen, not by others and not by himself. He thought the problem was out there, wrong partners, bad timing, bad luck. But eventually the patterns became too loud to ignore, so he turned inward. In therapy and in stillness, he met the parts of himself he'd spent years avoiding.
The little boy who had been told that crying was weak, the teenager who was shamed for being sensitive, the man who learned to wear masks just to be loved. He met his jealousy, his rage, his neediness. Instead of judging them, he listened. Instead of pushing them away, he stayed. And something started to shift. He stopped needing to prove his worth, stopped choosing relationships that mirrored his unworthiness. He began to speak with honesty, not from defense, but from depth. He started creating from his truth, not to be impressive, not to win approval, but because his voice finally felt like his. This is what shadow work looks like, a quiet homecoming, a remembering. Now, Robert still has his moments, but he moves through them whole, grounded and present, because healing is not perfection, but integration. Now let's make an exercise. I want you to take a deep breath, slowly. Let your eyes soften. Let your jaw relax and bring to mind one part of yourself you've been afraid to love. Maybe it's the one who gets triggered. Maybe it's the one who shuts down. Maybe it's the part of you that feels ugly, unworthy, broken. Now, in the quiet of your own heart, say to that part, I see you. I understand why you did what you did. You were protecting me the only way you knew how. And now, you are safe. You are welcome here. Practice this often, and pay attention to how your body responds when it hears the truth. Notice the shift, however small. This is shadow work. This is healing. When you heal your shadow, you don't just change your inner world. You change how you move through life. You stop reacting from wounds. You begin to respond from wisdom. You stop needing validation. You begin living from alignment. You stop fearing emotion. You begin to trust your truth, your own truth, and others feel it. Your relationships shift. Your energy softens. Your presence deepens.
The world outside becomes more peaceful because the war inside has ended. Shadow work will not give you instant bliss. It will give you something deeper. It will give you honesty, authenticity, compassion. You will no longer need to perform your healing or to chase light, because you will have remembered you are the one holding both the light and the dark. It is in that sacred union that you become whole. As we close this journey, let us remember what Carl Jung once said: wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. You are not broken. You are becoming real. Every part of you, light and shadow, is part of the whole, and healing is not about changing who you are, but remembering who you've always been. So as a promise to yourself, type in the comments, "I am already whole." Don't just think it, declare it, because when you write it, you anchor it. You speak it not only to the world, but to your subconscious, and your subconscious is always listening. If this message resonated with you, subscribe and share it with someone who may be walking their own path through the dark. And remember, your wholeness is not something you earn, it's something you come home to.